All right. All right. Um, those are two good ones. Do you guys have any, Freddie, do you have any prayer requests?
Yeah, pray for our trip to Israel.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
July 9th.
July 9th. Good.
5 weeks. It's quarantine. There's second wave now. There's annexation coming up July 1st. It's a fast stuff. We're going.
Yeah. And you get, on this trip, you're getting to see one or two grandkids that you haven't, yeah, both you haven't seen, right? Yeah. Oh, this is exciting.
No, we saw the first
Okay.
one. He's 6 months. We saw when he was.
Okay. Good. Good. Well, that's exciting, getting to see grandkids.
Praying for you
Yep.
that tomorrow you come do a good job.
Yep. I'm going to be at your house. I'm going to be at your house. I'm excited about that, actually.
Actually, it would be good to have one.
Yeah, it would be. We got some at the house.
All right. Joe, Paula, do you guys got anything?
We just ask for spiritual encouragement within our home. Just little small things, nothing we want to bring up major. Just pray for spiritual encouragement within the clan there.
Okay, cool. Tom, Rachel? Your sister, yeah. I was gonna say I prayed for her already today. Yeah. So okay, yeah. Holly.
Yes, I'll let you guys back, I think in 2 weeks, because her white blood cell counts are dropping. So they're looking for a particular protein to spike before they treat the lymphoma, which, it could stay that way for a while, but most of her numbers are dropping, and she doesn't feel well.
Okay. Yeah, definitely be praying for her. Hank?
Working full time with Michael. It's a lot of fun. Hope it stays that way.
Yeah, yeah. It's good. Yeah, good to have a job and good to be able to work with people you enjoy being around. And a good influence, I'm assuming, as such. You guys seem to be iron sharpened iron. Yep, that's good. Henry?
Work's been slow.
Okay.
We're getting by okay, but work has been.
Okay. You need more work, okay? Nick Lee?
Strange state at the house all the time.
Yeah. Nick Leanna?
Well, a praise report. Y'all know about the land and all that stuff, so we sold the land.
Did you? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Praise God.
And we closed on our construction loan, so we're starting that process. So I like to that because we always complain and tell people about the story and stuff, and now we're done. The Lord's answered our prayers. So
Awesome. So you're going to be a Windsorite again. Well, Nick, you'll finally be a Windsorite. You've always been a Windsorite. Yeah, you've always been a Windsorite in our heart. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Tag name. You can't do it.
Oh, yeah. Ha. Sherry? Cancer's gone. Survived auto accident cancer, and we're hoping she'll do just fine after her alligator attack. Just kidding. She was talking what's next. That's why we're saying. Jeff, Nicole?
Us being good parents, being our country, and new work environment now. They've let me out of the nest, so now I'm all my own nursing. So that's why I can get these nice schedules on Sun. I can have Sundays off again. So
Awesome.
yeah. So
Good. Good. Sinclair?
If you will, I'm very frustrated with what's going on in our country, but I find it in Scripture, for we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in heavenly places. Therefore, take up the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand that evil day. Stand therefore, having girded your waist with truth, having put on the breastplate of righteousness. I think we need to study that because that's what I need.
Yep. That's a good point, Sinclair.
So
Good point. All right. Well, I have a prayer request I'm going to mention in prayer, obviously, but my dad is having surgery tomorrow. His battery's going low on his pacemaker. My dad's not a robot, but yeah. Now this is a minor surgery in some ways to him since he had a heart transplant, but at the same time, because he's had a heart transplant, he has the anti-rejection medicine, so everything's a little bit scarier and harder. Plus, it just doesn't sound like fun. So just pray for him, so yeah. And I'm live, and if there's anyone watching, I don't even know if anyone's watching, but if you're watching, you can always send to the church prayer requests. We will be praying. We will pray. All right, let's pray. Heavenly Father, I thank you that we can come to you. I thank you that we can pray and bring prayer requests to you. I thank you that there were some big prayer requests, but not devastated in some ways. We have ones like Carrie's dad, his broke his hip and had surgery and had knee issues also through that, but he seems to be doing better. I ask God you take care of him. I ask God you take care of Georgia Van Zant with her cancer. The surgery went well, but the chemo. God, I ask you help the Schwegs as they're going to Israel. I mean, there's concerns in that kind of travel and everything like that, but also I'm sure they're excited to see their grandkids. The scriptures are praying for them and their whole family spread out for spiritual revival and awakening through all the situations they're going through. And God, I ask you the same for the rest of us. I ask God you to help Rachel's sister Holly with it's just the blood counts and everything like that don't look good. God, what we'd want to see is for her to be full health. That's what we want. So I'm going to just say that. God, I ask you help Hank. He's enjoying getting to work with his a good friend, and he has full work right now, so that's great. God, I ask you help him with that and help him and Michael to be iron sharpening iron, and we're grateful for that. And on that note, God, I ask you help Henry because he's has less work than he wants. So that means he's home more than he wants, and I ask God you help him with that and help him to have wisdom on whatever he needs to do and get accomplished while he's home. On that note, God, I ask you help the Townsends. That they are now going to be creating a new home. They sold the property. These are good, exciting times, and God, I ask you help them to go well with that. I ask God you help Sherry. They had the surgery. They removed the cancer, skin cancer on her ear. God, I ask you help that the cancer stay away and that she will be cancer-free. She is beat an auto accident that could have killed many a person. She beat cancer. God, I ask you help her to be strong in you for whatever else is going to happen in her life. We're joking of saying what's next, but truly, God, I ask you take care of her and guide her. God, I ask you help Jeff and Cole. Their main request was that they'll be good parents. So also with him having new job and or the job growing and him having new cycles and such. God, I ask you help him with that and give them wisdom. It's good to see them again. God, I ask you help. As Sinclair mentioned, the world is going through craziness. And God, I ask you help us to remember that it is not the craziness that we need to be concerned about. It's the spiritual warfare that's going on. That is where the good things and the bad things come from. So we thank you. We put all these things in your hands because you're God and we're not, and I'm so grateful for that. I don't know if I mentioned my dad. I got to actually help my dad's surgery tomorrow, and God, I thank you for fathers. I thank you that I am a father. It has been a lot of fun, and we thank you for all the things you've done and all things you will do. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, we're in 1 Samuel chapter 25, verse 36. Now, I tried to, last week someone mentioned how I got done my class earlier than Eric did, and one of the reasons why is because I broke this story in 3 parts. And I wanted those 3 parts to be distinct because there was, 3 things that I wanted us to get out of it. So, I'm going to read 36 and 37. We'll explain where we're at and everything like that. It says this, "And Abigail came to Nabal, and behold, he held a feast in his house, like the feast of a king. and Nabal's heart was merry within him, for he was very drunken. Wherefore she told him nothing, less or more, until the morning light. But it came to pass in the morning, when the wine was gone out of Nabal, and his wife had told him these things, that his heart died within him, and he became as a stone. Okay, now this is going back to the story of when David came to Nabal, sent messengers to Nabal, said, hey, you kind of owe me something because we've taken care of your sheep, your shepherds. And Nabal said, I don't know who you are. He insulted him, and then he sent his messengers going back with their tail between their legs. Then Abigail, Nabal's wife, who is smart and pretty, who mentions that, goes to David because she finds out that her husband, whose name means folly, offended David. She goes to him as quick as she could because David was on his way to kill every man in that family and group. She rescues the day by giving him gifts and showing humility. She's on her way back home, and this is what I was wondering what was thinking in her mind. Was she thinking, I can't wait to tell, Mr. Folly I saved his life. And by the way, that's the wrong wine with the wrong meat, or complaining, being what the memes of Karen nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Where you have these ladies, getting this meme of being called the Karen, where it's a woman calling out people that are just walking by. And you know what? I find those humorous because we all have a little bit of that in us, right? We like to call people out. It's fun. But we have to watch how we do it. Because I had my tie wrong, and I was talking to Chris, and I said, Chris, would you fix someone's tie? If it was wrong, he's like, oh, yeah, and he mentioned that. And we want to help people out when they're looking, wrong or something's off. But we have to watch how we do it. And I think she was smart. He was having this feast. He was living, living high, having a good old time. And he was merry. He was drunk. I went to a house one time. I was supposed to do some work in the house, and they had a welcome mat. And the welcome mat said, sorry about the text last night. I was drunk. And I thought it was pretty funny that was their welcome mat. I chuckled, and I knocked on the door, and I was supposed to go there to do work. And I was like, hey, man, what you texted last night? He's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. The welcome mat. But, this is why I don't want to get drunk or high. I've had a couple situations in my life where I've been around people who have done substances to get them whatever, high, drunk, and they did things, and that later on, they regretted them. I don't want that. I don't want to wake up in the morning and go, oh, I didn't want to do that. This sounds funny, but it's true. I'm scared of Greg. I don't want Greg to be completely without boundaries. I'm scared of what I would do if I don't have some control of me. I don't like that idea. And so she told him nothing until the morning. You know what? This is proof that she did it right. She wasn't a Karen. Because she didn't call him out as soon as she got home. It would have been fun to wait when everyone's all the feasting on, and they're like, ah! And she goes, hey, I saved everyone's here's life. That would have been fun. That would have been great. That would have been awesome call out. You know what I'm saying? You were a jerk. You all were about to die. Right? It would have been kind of fun. But she didn't do that. And, she waited until the wine was out, probably literally. And then she told him, and it says that his heart died. I got a friend of mine who is a state trooper, or had a friend of mine, kind of That's another story. And he was telling me about a situation one time where he was called. There was a man in the middle of a street. The guy was intoxicated of some sort. He had a gun and was waving it at cars driving by. My friend gets there. He draws weapon. He says, put your gun on the ground. The man who is intoxicated pulls gun and goes like this. Police standard is when the gun gets close to being aimed at you, you shoot. My friend did not shoot. He the guy was actually on the way of throwing the gun, not aiming the gun. And the guy threw the gun, it landed. Now, he got reprimanded because he didn't shoot the guy. But also, later on they found out it wasn't even it was a real gun, but it wasn't as powerful a gun. It was an air. It wasn't an airsoft. It was something like a pellet gun. It could have still hurt you, but it wasn't a killing weapon. But it had no signs on it. It looked exactly like a real gun. The thing that he told me was he couldn't sleep at all that night because he knew if he had shot that guy, I mean, his life could have been over. He also knew his life could have been over if the guy had a real gun and wanted to kill him because he didn't shoot. Now, I know this is going to be completely politically incorrect to say, but I don't hear anyone talk about this. When you have these police brutality situations, I often think about, because of that story, sooner or later that cop's going to come to a point. The guy that knelt on that guy's neck, he looked like he didn't care when he was doing that. But at some point, reality had to hit. I just killed a man that was cuffed. Can you imagine how he felt? I do not like guilt. I do not like feeling guilt. This is one of the reasons why I don't want to get drunk, because I don't want to do things wrong and feel guilt. It's one of the things that stops me from doing some of the sins. I didn't say all sins because I still sin. But it is one of the things that has kept me from certain things because I don't like feeling guilty. And I really don't like the feeling of feeling guilty when I've hurt someone else. This guy had jeopardized his whole family, his whole group, every male. Can you imagine how he felt? And he realized, holy smokes, if it wasn't for my wife, I could have been dead. Yesterday, I and my Linda and the girls and Zita, we went to the beach. And I had the girls, and they were on boogie boards, and they were having a blast. They've gotten to pretty good at swimming, and we were in water that was, chest high for me, so too high for them, but they're on the boogie boards. I'm keeping them swimming around. Linda was close to the beach, and she said, Greg, come out. She said she saw something about 3 foot long that was a black form swim up to me, kind of take a sniff, and then go off. So we get out, because Linda's freaking out, more for her than anything else. And someone said, hey, everyone should get out. There's a bunch of sharks out there.
Who said that?
Huh? Someone else that was walking down the beach. They were telling everyone to get out because of the amount of sharks are in the water. So more than likely, I got sniffed out by a shark. A shark that's 3 foot, it might have taken one bite. That might not have been good. I'm not saying that. But what I'm more concerned about is my girls were on paddle boards with their legs stripping, looking like seals or whatever, just looking delicious. I mean, if I'm going to take a bite of me or I'm going to take a bite of, Zofia or Maya, they look way more delicious than I do. That's scary to me.
Where was that?
It was Crescent. Yeah, I know. Now, just for the record, the likelihood of you getting bit by a shark is lower than you getting killed by a Coke machine. But, those Coke machines are dangerous. People hit them and get mad, and then they fall down on them. Yeah, I'm not joking. I'm not joking. But here's my point. It was spooky. And later on at night, it popped in my mind. It did spook me because I'm like, what if something happened to one of my girls? See what I'm saying? That's what this guy was feeling. But it says that his heart died. And I always thought that that was just like, oh, wow, right?
You know how to keep sharks away?
Stay on land.
That too. Look it up and prove whether I'm lying to you or not. Magnets.
Magnets.
If you have magnets on you, it messes up the shark's senses. I know it sounds a little bit crazy, but they would have magnetic fish hooks when they're some of the fishermen, just so they would not
Catch a shark. I have heard that. I have heard that.
But magnets messes up their. Apparently, when you move, you put out little electrical pulses, or whatever moves, sea animals or whatever, and they use that sensory. Well, it messes up their sensory devices, so they, if they were in a feeding frenzy, they keep coming in.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, I'd rather put magnets on my girls than not me. But verse 38 says this, and it came to pass after about 10 days after that the Lord smote Nabal that he died. Now, some theologians, whatever, think that when it said his heart died, he had a stroke. And some believe, because it said that he was like stone, that he was actually paralyzed from that moment right there. I don't know. All I know is he was hit hard, emotionally fear, and went 10 days of paranoia until he died. Why? See, here's the thing. Okay, there's been people that have offended me in my life, okay? There's been people that have said mean things about me. I didn't think, well, that person's going to just deserve to die. You know what I'm saying? Look, I know, there's words you're not supposed to say nowadays, whatever. It's so funny when they say, this word's the N word for white women, Karen, and this, or what's the Italian one? Huh?
I don't know what the Karen thing means. You're talking about Karen.
Really? Okay. You know what memes? Okay. Okay, that's fine. You know what memes are? Like they have the little short videos, and also it's a word that they have now, a name they've used to describe really nitpicky, bossy women. Would anyone else help me out on that? Is about right? Bossy women. It's the kind of woman. It's the kind of woman that goes up to perfect strangers and tells them when they're driving that they should have their face mask on while they're driving by themselves. It's just they just picked that name and they've used it and it's stuck. I think it's because it sounds like a white woman name. I guess I have no idea. And the truth of the matter is, it could be a guy. It could be a whatever. It's become a term. And I think it's hilarious because I just think it's funny because of poor Karen Sissio. But why did how did Nabal deserve death? See, okay.
Well, you have to remember that they didn't have TV and video and stuff and for entertainment value. Every year they'd go to war and go kill people back then, it seemed like.
Yeah, death was definitely more prevalent.
Entertainment value.
You're right. Death was definitely more prevalent back then. But this was God's doing, not David's doing.
Could be just his guilt. If I'm not mistaken, with this account there, he treated Abigail, Nabal treated Abigail horribly, if I'm not mistaken.
Nothing in this passage that tells me that he was abusive towards Abigail, but
Yeah, I'm not saying that, but just kind of like underneath him, like he's much.
he was definitely, his name meant folly, and
He didn't treat her like,
his name meant folly, and in other parts of the passage, it talks about him living up to his name. But yeah, I think this could have been just the icing on the cake of his personality and his default settings of being a person of foolishness.
Makes you wonder how he could ever have any wealth if he was in folly all the time.
Well, you know what? I've met some people that were despicable people that were smart businessmen. Those are the people I always get ripped off by. Those are people. If I could pick up that they were like that, I should ask for like money up front on jobs and stuff, but I don't, and yeah, it doesn't go well.
Greg, is there a sense of like contrition here with Nabal that, Abigail telling him this, and now he's so distraught, heartbroken? I wouldn't say heartbroken, but just like the weight of what all this, like penitent, right? To the point that it's just like, woe is me type of mode there. I don't know the Greek.
The truth of the matter is, I'm looking at none of the commentaries that I read said anything of that nature, and everything that all the versions I've read, because I got a parallel Bible with me. All the other versions have it more just like grief, but it was not grief for his actions. It was like fear. So it wasn't repentance. But I don't think it was what he did, it's who he did it to. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's you mess with, what do they say? You mess with the wrong person and you get, there you go, mess with the bull, you get the horn. You mess with the lion, you get the teeth. And David was the Lion of Judah. He was, in a weird way, not in a weird way, in a full way, he was the new anointed of God. Just like David was not going to kill Saul, and we're going to get into that again next week, he was protected because he was God's anointed. He did wrong, yes, in his act and his attitude, but it was more importantly because he did it to the wrong person.
And also, Nick, for the millennial reign, there's a flavor here of David being a type of Jesus, and he's going to rule with a rod of iron. So, it's going to have capital punishment. He took against the king, you're probably going to die during the millennial reign. So,
Yeah.
it's a stretch, but it's...
That David, that's a great illustration, or a great point. David is a type of Christ, a picture of Christ, and so therefore, when you're messing with that picture, it's even more dangerous. By the way, that is my view. It's also a Catholic view of marriage, because they don't want you to mess with marriage because it is a picture of Christ and the church. You're messing with the picture. You're not just messing with the item, but the picture of what that item is supposed to be of. And that's why it is so distraughtful when you mess with it. And so because he was a type of Christ, and because Christ is not, so many people make Jesus a wimp. Jesus was very merciful during that time. But next coming, he's not going to be as merciful. So, yeah, well said. 39 says this. And when David heard that Nabal was dead, he said, "Blessed be the Lord that hath pleaded the cause of my reproach from the hand of Nabal, and hath kept his servants from evil. For the Lord hath returned the wickedness of Nabal upon his own head." And David sent and communed with Abigail to take her to him to wife. Okay. Can I tell you something? I couldn't do that. There's people I'm not real fond of. I don't like their actions. But I'm going to be honest with you. I have a hard time with the concept of being excited by someone's death. You know, and just as I said that, it popped in my mind when bin Laden got shot by our soldiers. I did feel but see, it wasn't so much that I was like just deserve of what he got. It was also, I'm glad that we don't have this guy that's going to be created in the next 9/11. You know what I'm saying? I was also feeling peace because the guy that was trying to promote hate towards our country and others was not going to be doing it anymore. But I got to be honest with you, to me, it's mind-boggling that he was praising God for someone's death. But if David's doing it, and at this point, it doesn't say anything about God going, hey, David, take it down a notch. It was justified. And one of the things that comes to my mind is this, just as what Fred said about how Jesus is going to be ruling with a rod of iron. We forget, because we're so in the era of thinking about grace and mercy, you getting what you don't deserve, you not getting what you do deserve, that we forget that whatsoever man sow, that shall he also reap. We forget that there's consequences to our actions. Nabal had a bad action, he got a bad consequence. David had a good action in the sense that he didn't kill everyone, he had a good reaction in the sense that he was still alive. I can go on and on and on. And so he said, he said, God pleaded my cause. God repaid the evil of what this guy had done. And then he also said, but he also kept me. You know, I was thinking about how, I talked about how I'm scared of Greg. I'm scared of the things that I'm going to do. Of course I want to sin, because we have a human old nature, and it wants to sin all over the place. But also, there's a part of me, the new man, that wants to not sin. And when I go any period of time, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and I go, I didn't sin that last 10 minutes, I'm like, thanks, God. Thank you for the help there. There's been so many times where I'm like, I am so glad you helped me. And David was saying that too. And he was saying that because God helped him through Abigail. By the way, I think that having godly women around, or godly men, for the women's folk, but having someone around that's going to keep you in check is so good. I mean, you all know my wife, she's not going to let me go out of the house with my tie wrong. She's also going to call me out if I'm doing something wrong. If she's like, hey, Greg, yesterday we were, at the beach, as I said, and she sees someone struggling, pulling something. Greg, go help that lady out. All right, okay, sure, no problem. I'm glad to help the person, but that's, that's what I need. He got this from Abigail, and I'm sure that was ringing in his mind. I was talking about how Nabal did wrong because of who he did it to. I say certain things, whatever, joking around with Linda, that I can say to her. Amaya yesterday said one of my sayings to Linda. Didn't go so well for her, right? Because of who you're talking to. Here's the happy thought on this. Where there is no justice, there will be. There's been times in my life where I've seen people, Henry mentioned, the bad guy's not going to have good business. Yeah, I've met some people that are doing extremely well. Everything seems to be going so well for them, but they hate Jesus, they hate God, they're anti-Israel, a lot of them. I don't know why. That always seems to be a main theme of evil people, right? But they're all kinds of, everything that's bad you could have. They're just horrible. And they seem to be doing well their whole life. But where there is no justice, there will be justice. God is a just God. Vengeance is his. Now, there's going to be times God may say, Greg, jump in. I'm a protector. If someone comes in here to hurt you or hurt, anyone, I'm a protector. I'm going to be I'm going to be someone that's going to be a protector. But at the same time, I don't have to feel obligated to have revenge on something that happened to someone. That's God's job. I'm glad it's not mine. Then he sends, okay, I don't know if this is romantic or not. I'm pretty sure it's not. David sends his, guys to go pick up Abigail and say, hey, David wants you to be his wife, This is not how I did it with Linda any of the 5 times I asked her. I always did it in person. I didn't even use email. But you got to understand, there was a part of this was kind of romantic in the sense that her husband was dead. She needed a kinsman redeemer of some sort, and he was saying, hey, I'll be your kinsman redeemer, I'll take that job. I'll take care of you. And he also saw her value just by one action. I remember one of the first times Linda and I got to eat together, someone had us both over to someone's house. And they made lasagna for us with meat in it. Linda ate the lasagna. And I thought that was cool. And then I found out she was a vegetarian, which is not cool. But that's besides the point. She was a vegetarian. She did not offend the people that she was at their house and still ate the meat in order to not be offensive. And when I realized that, I was like, holy smokes. This is a valuable woman. Huh? It might have been. And you know what? It doesn't matter. I found out hundreds of times since then that she's valuable. But you know what? Let me tell you. I was talking to a friend of mine, and he's dating this girl, and she's not being as smitten as he is. He's like, I know my value. We to know your. He realized, hey, she's hot. She's good looking. She's got this, but not only that, she's got wisdom. She's the one that spoke up and solved the problem. I mean, it says that in the very beginning that she was smart and good looking. She had it all. And David realized it. So, that, or maybe there's some romance to that. Verse 40, it says this, and Abigail hasted and rode upon an ass with the 5 damsels of hers that went with her. And she went after the messengers of David and became his wife. Oh, wait, I skipped. I skipped 40, I'm sorry. Or 40, sorry, I skipped. 40 and 41, I'm so sorry. And when the servants of David came to Abigail to Carmel and spoke to her, saying, David sent us unto to thee to take thee to be wife. And she rose and bowed herself to the face of the earth and said, Behold, let thy handmaid be a servant to wash the feet of the servants of my Lord. She said, I want to wash your all's feet. Basically, I don't want that job. I've seen people's feet. It's not the job I want. I don't even want to be a nurse or a doctor or anything. That's not my thing. I want to work on your house. I'll paint your house, but I don't want to work on your feet. But she had her face down. She showed humility, which, by the way, humility and meekness is not weakness. She showed connection. And you know what? I was thinking about this. Later on, she became the king's wife. She did right. Just as with Jesus in the millennial time, the rod of iron for those who do wrong, there is great reward for doing what's right. She got to be the queen. Now, I'm not a big fan of multi-wives. Yeah, good. Linda says that there's been times that she said that it would be kind of nice to have a second wife that'll do all the dishes and do all the vacuuming and stuff like that. I was like, well, that's not a wife, but so no, let's not do that. But I don't like that idea. I think it caused problems for David. Obviously, when you open the door to multi-wives and you open the door for Bathsheba, in a way, I don't like that. But she did become queen. So there was some benefits of it. In verse 42, it says this. And Abigail hasted and rose. And, I already said that. And she took the went after him, and she went after the messenger of David and became his wife. It says that she moved quick. She must have known the value of David. I think, speaking of Linda, I think Linda, is one of her spiritual gifts is discernment. She can look at a person and say, hey, that person right there is going to have ability in this area. That's a gift. I think it's part of connected to her spiritual gift, but it's an ability. She can say, hey, that person is good for that. That person's good for that. Abigail saw David and knew and understood he was going to be king. I think she knew. Because Nabal made comments. She made comments. She knew that he was going to be something. Gonna have to stop there, but verse 43, he gets another wife, and then verse 44, he loses a wife. Someone gives his wife away. But the one thing I want us to get out of this was this today was, we as Christians, because we love talking about God's grace and God's mercy, we also have to talk about God's justice. We also have to remember God's justice. When you think, hey, should I do this sin? Remember, there will be a consequence to it. And there's consequences to doing what's right too. Yeah. Yeah. Nabon's sin could have wiped out his whole family. You're right. And so we got to remember that. We have to remember that. And it's hard to put that in connection with the gracious, merciful God that we believe and serve, but they both exist. And that hurts my head trying to figure that out. All right, let's pray. Heavenly Father, I thank you for your word. I thank you for your grace. I thank you for your mercy. I also thank you for your justice, because it is truly just. We thank you. We praise you. We love you back. In Jesus' name, amen.